Well, while you live in this space of, I love who I am, I love what I do, I love the way I interact, I love the way I coach, I love the way I lead, and you're never open to discovering something else, then you're always limited to your perspective. But the person who was talking about Mike Tyson was saying he was so disciplined that he made it look easy. Nothing great was ever accomplished without great discipline. Welcome to the Serve One podcast. My name is Philip. I'm a campus pastor here at Elevation Matthews in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you for tuning in for this. If you have been following for a little while, I would love it, first of all, if you like and subscribe so that you go ahead and get all of this content. But if this has been helpful for you in any way, think about somebody right now that you can share this content with. Copy the link, send them a text message so that they can grow. That is my heart. And really why we do this podcast is to help people grow and become everything that God has created them to be. We're in an awesome season at our church. We have seen God do some absolutely amazing things, and I just cannot wait to get through the end of the year, come into January, and just see the fruit of all of our labor. The team here is awesome. This is a great place to be, so thank you so much for joining us in this journey. I want you to grow. So, will you continue to pursue who God has created you to be? So we're in this little series where we're talking about growth. I talked about having a growth mindset. And what I'd like to talk with you today is grow your discipline. Again, this is one of those things like we talked about last week where I talked about growing your integrity, where we oftentimes can put something like integrity or discipline in the category of have and have not. In fact, we can oftentimes identify from a very young age who is going to live a disciplined life and who's going to live a little bit of a wild and free life and do whatever they want. And there's benefits, I think, to both sides of that. But I believe even if you're wild and free and want to do whatever you want to do all the time, I think that's great. I still think you can incorporate discipline into your life and you will live a much better life. This is the tough thing about any of this stuff. When we talk about growth, getting people to the frame of mind where they actually believe that they can grow and for people to be able to see that there is a better way to live their life is, I think, one of the greatest challenges. I've worked with people for a long time now, and I have coached people towards certain areas of growth in their life, and they are so married to who they are right now that they are incapable of seeing there potentially could be a better way for them to live. They love the way they experience life right now. They love the way they engage with the world right now, that they cannot even imagine stepping away from that because they love it so much. But the thing is, if there is something better you could experience, wouldn't you want it? Well, while you live in this space of, I love who I am, I love what I do, I love the way I interact, I love the way I coach, I love the way I lead, and you're never open to discovering something else, then you're always limited to your perspective. But what if you just shifted a little bit and said, okay, maybe there is a better way to approach life. Maybe there is something more that I can gain from getting exposed to different situations and different people and hearing different thought processes and being willing to engage with those, not shut them out and say, oh no, I don't like you because you fit into a specific category and I don't like those types of people. But what if you would be willing to say, oh, maybe there is a better way to live? That's what I'm talking about in this growth series is grow in your discipline. This is not something that you have and you don't have. This is not something that, oh, I've just gotten used to my systems and I love this and this is the way I'm always going to be. This is taking it to the step of there's probably a better way to live my life because there are people who have modeled this and they live better lives than I do. Sometimes it just takes admitting that. Like for me to look at my life by comparison to others and say, I wonder how they got there. I wonder how they have that much success in whatever it would be. And don't just equate success to how much money you have or the position you have at work. But some people are extremely successful in relationships. Well, how did they get there? How did they accomplish that? You might say, oh, they're just naturally gifted. They just, that's just who they are. I heard somebody talking about Mike Tyson recently. And I bring it up because he's got another fight coming up against Jake Paul, and who knows what in the world is going to happen with that. But the person who was talking about Mike Tyson was saying he was so disciplined that he made it look easy. So for the average person, you and I, looking in on Mike Tyson's life, we would say, oh, he was just a born fighter. He was just created to be that way. He just has that. We look at people like this and we say, they just have that switch in their brain that when they go to that place, they're able to just naturally do really hard things or accomplish really significant things. But Mike Tyson would say, no, that's not the case. I would love to just show up and fight, but I have had to put in hard work to accomplish this level of success, to accomplish this level of skill. It's hard work and it takes discipline. It takes being willing to hit that punching bag one more time and another time and another time and another time so that you can grow in your skill. It takes doing one more sit-up and then another sit-up, and then another sit-up, and getting to the place where you are so disciplined that you're able to accomplish great things. Nothing great was ever accomplished without great discipline. So what does that look like in your life? What is an area right now where if you had a little more discipline, you would be able to accomplish that thing that you've been thinking about for a very long, long time? And this is what I need you to do. Take a small step towards discipline. We talked about this last week with integrity. I talked about being a person who has integrity and grows in that integrity. Not like you're already there and this is all you're ever going to be, but if you are a person of integrity, you could actually increase that and grow and become more. The same thing with discipline is that you might be a disciplined person right now, but with greater discipline, how much more could you accomplish? Or you might be in a situation where you're like, Philip, you're speaking to an area right now where I was actually already tempted to shut this podcast off because I don't consider myself to be a disciplined person. And honestly, I get tired of the people like David Goggins running around just telling me to get up and do it and like yelling at me because I'm not accomplishing the things and like get over it and all these mantras that people associate with disciplined people. And we say, oh, that's what it looks like to be disciplined. But I'm not even attracted to that type of person. Okay, put all of that stuff aside, right? What I want you to do is I want you to grow and become who God created you to be. And so is there an area of your life that you would like to grow in? Okay, identify that. That's what we're going to be talking about a lot throughout this series is I need people to be able to see there is a better life that I can live. There is something more that God has for me. Whether I'm 64 or I'm 16, it doesn't matter. There is something more that I could become and that I could grow into if I'm willing to sit back and say, there probably is something more for my life. There probably is an area that I could grow and become better and experience so much more. So what is that for you? And what I need you to do is to take a small step. So what that could look like is when you come home from work, you have a spot where you place your keys. And I want you every day when you come home to start placing your keys right in that location, whether it's a spot that you hang your keys up or it's a drawer that you keep your keys in. Currently, right now, the reason that you're late to work half the time is because you just come home and drop your keys wherever you want to, and you spend 10 minutes the next morning trying to rustle around and find, where are my keys? Why do I always lose my keys? Where's my wallet? Why can't I find it? Well, what I want you to do is just take a small step towards a disciplined life and say, okay, every day when I come home from work, I'm going to place my keys in the same exact location. This is a small step towards helping you become more efficient in your life, and it will pay dividends down the road. Once you've developed that habit or that discipline to always do that same exact thing, you can start to count on it, and you'll know each and every time you're going to leave the house, boom, that's where it's at. Boom, that's where it's at. And then the next time that you don't do that thing, you'll be like, hang on a second. I always do this. What happened? And you'll have to track your steps and be like, oh, okay, this is where I messed up. But what you need to do is get to the place where you're doing a small thing. This is what I do consistently. This is who I am. And that will help jumpstart your progress towards becoming a person who could proudly say, I live a disciplined life. It's just that small thing. I don't want you to think about, okay, I got to figure out the disciplines that I need to do in order to drop 50 pounds right now. I don't need you to think about that, right? What I'm trying to do is getting you to just start. I don't want you to think about, okay, what are all the chapters in that book that I am trying to write right now? And what are going to be the themes? No. I don't need you to do all of that. I need you to do a very small thing that may not be associated with that greater goal that you're trying to accomplish, and choose, every day when I come home, I place my keys in this same exact spot. So when I walk in the house at the end of each day, I got my girls with me. There's lots of stuff going on. I could get distracted. I'm trying to carry in backpacks. I've got my bag. I've got all this stuff going on. But the very first thing that I do when I get home, I walk over to this desk that sits in the front room of our house, open up the drawer, and I place my keys in it. Now, I know I put this out on a podcast and y'all are thinking, isn't that dangerous, Philip? You told everybody where you keep your keys. I'm not too worried about it because I locked the door as well. So you can't come after me. But I do this every single day. That's where I keep them so that in the morning, listen, this is key. In the morning, when I get up and I'm trying to make breakfast for both of my girls, and then they're going to get ready for the school day, and I'm getting ready to head out the door, and I got to get ready and go through all the hustle and bustle and pray with my family and give my wife a kiss and get out the door and like all the things that we have to do, I know as soon as I walk over to that drawer, boom, keys there, I can walk out. It reduces my level of stress because I live a disciplined life. Jocko Willink says, discipline is freedom. I have freedom in my life because I know what I can expect out of my life, right? So what is that very small thing? I hear Craig Rochelle talk about it's flossing. For him, he flosses every day. It's a level of discipline that encourages him and gives him confidence. Oh, I can live a disciplined life. I don't know what that small step would be for you, but I need you to identify some small thing like that that will help you grow in your ability to develop discipline, to grow in your discipline, and to develop habits that helps you live a better life. That is my goal for you, is I want you to live a better life, and I need you to feel as though you have the strength to do it. What'll happen then, as you grow in your discipline to do that small thing, you'll be able to start to apply those same actions towards much bigger things. So something that I'm super proud of, I've talked about it a little bit recently, is I just completed a half Ironman. I had a 7-minute personal best, which I was super proud of. Previously, it was 5 hours, 19 minutes, and 41 seconds. I just completed this one in 5 hours, 12 minutes, and 41 seconds. And 7-minute PR was massive, huge. You know what I did different this time than I had previously? I have an app that I followed a coaching plan. It's called Motiv, Mottiv. It's tailored a little bit towards triathletes, but it created my workouts for me. Now, I'm already a disciplined person, so I'm able to do something pretty big like this, right? This is a big event. But because of building my ability to be disciplined along the way, I now have the capability of accomplishing something really, really big like this. The difference was this app is giving me the workouts for the day. All I had to do was show up. And let me tell you, this was a 4-month build. And I got to that last, honestly, 6 weeks of it. And I had to mentally tell myself, just show up. The discipline that I needed was just show up. Show up at the pool. Don't even worry about the workout right now. Don't even worry if you have to get in the water and jump right back out because you're not feeling it. Just show up. I didn't have to worry about all of the extra things that come along with doing the workout. Just show up. It's a simple discipline that I was able to apply, and it got me in the best shape of my life. Just show up. The only way you get to the space where you can be disciplined to do something that big and that significant is by getting disciplined in the small thing. Grow your discipline. Stop lying to yourself and saying, I'm not a disciplined person, right? I'm the type of person who stays up late every night and I eat a little bit of extra candy every night and I just can't control it. Stop believing that lie and start practicing small steps toward a disciplined life. Experience freedom that comes from it and live a better life. I want you to grow. Press into it. Let me know how I can continue to encourage you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Make sure you share it with somebody that needs to grow in this area.